Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Friday night panel on Talk and Fight. I'm coming live to you from Niagara Falls, Canada. The rest of the lads are in Toronto. I might have to duck out early because I've just taken off my mask. I might get kicked out of here. But in the meantime, I think to start us off, we got Christian with a bit of history for us.
Absolutely, Graham. We usually have something kicking around. Today, I want to talk about a boxing match, a 1921 boxing match between Jack Dempsey and Georges Carpentier, Frenchman. Now, it's not so much about the match itself here, about the actual boxing match, although it was a great fight. It's more so about how this one fight changed, birthed two multi-billion-dollar industries and changed modern radio, well, gave us radio, really, as we know it today. So I'm going to take you through a bit of this here. So it was Saturday, July 2nd, 1921. It was a boiling summer afternoon in a field on the outskirts of New Jersey, and a raucous crowd of more than 80,000 had just witnessed what had been billed as the fight of the century. I mean, they were all billed as the fight of the century back then, you know that. Now, the crowd was the largest, the purses paid to the fighters were the fattest, the gate receipts topped $1.5 million, the first time a sporting event had ever hit seven figures. But that's not really the story of the day here. Now, at ringside, Major Andrew White put down his telephone, sank back into his seat exhausted. He had been talking now for more than 4 hours. He had just completed the first major live sports broadcast on radio, and his first thought was to find out, how did it go? So he calls the office to find out, and all he gets is silence. The line was dead. So the question was, how long had it been dead? He said, there I was for 4 hours. I had talked steadily under that hot sun in that fight arena dust, giving the best that was in me. And now when I tried to find out the results of my work, the line was dead. He tried over and over again until finally the line clicked through. He said, what was the last thing that you heard? The reply? To come. Now, a vast crowd, as this was happening, was streaming happily towards the exits. None of them understood the real significance of what had just happened. The fight would go down in boxing folklore. Now, what has largely been forgotten, though, over the past century is that almost overnight, it created two brand new multi-billion-dollar industries. So, White was a 32-year-old New Yorker with a passion for amateur radio and had hoped that his words would herald in a new media era. Proving beyond all doubt that his beloved radio could be broadcast across the country and bring big events into Americans' homes. His first ever proper sports commentary. Now, this all began in the tiny Broadway offices of the National Wireless Association with a plan to broadcast the fight in order to raise money for a veterans charity run by the philanthropic socialite Ann Morgan, who's the daughter of financier J.P. Morgan. The promoter was Tex Rickard, keen to oil his relationship with the Morgans. He saw no value in radio, so just told them, yeah, go ahead. Absolutely. Didn't charge them a penny. Now, White was the NAWA's president, and he jumped at the chance and took the job himself. Even though few Americans actually owned radios themselves, and potential investors saw this as an experimental passing fancy at best. The fight was also a dream ticket for creative theatrical promoters such as Rickard, pitching the handsome French sophisticate Carpentier, who was a decorated First World War flying ace, against the uneducated street fighter Dempsey, who had been accused of dodging the draft. So White had estimated that the cost to broadcast this on the radio was going to be about $15,000, or about 225 grand American in our super accurate Talk and Fight maths. And had confidently said about raising it, but everyone he tried to get this money from, just showed him the door. They laughed him. They laughed him off the premises. Now, his last chance was a meeting with an old friend at RCA, another young radio enthusiast called David Sarnoff. Now, Sarnoff had proposed the pioneering idea of transmitting music on the radio into people's homes as early as 1916. His proposal had been rejected as science fiction. So Sarnoff only had about $1,500, or again, super talk and fight mass here, about 22 grand, but offered to help White make it happen. Now, the team was targeting the long wave frequency of 1,600 meters, which was owned by the U.S. Navy, but White actually persuaded them to play ball. And a special license was granted by the government to allow a temporary 24-hour radio station to be created to broadcast the fight. It would be called WJY. Now all they needed was a base in which to put it all. a transmitter powerful enough to generate a signal for 200 miles in all directions, and a tower tall enough to send it from. So White had heard of a powerful transmitter in Schenectady, upstate New York, which had been built for the Navy by General Electric. Now, White met with the Navy Club president, one Franklin D. Roosevelt, and asked if it was possible to borrow the giant 3.5 kilowatt transmitter, which, to give you an idea, was about the size of a phone booth. The future president, a keen boxing fan and amateur radio enthusiast, agreed, and White then hired a barge to move the transmitter 160 miles down the Hudson to Hoboken, where it was connected to a vast antenna that was strung from a 450-foot transmission tower to the clock tower of the railroad station. Sorry, not radio station. We didn't have those yet. That's the whole point of this. So the team sent out about 7,500 letters and forms to every radio enthusiast on the eastern seaboard that they could find, asking for help. And by the middle of June, they had secured about 60 theaters, dance halls, and things as such had been secured, in addition to an army of enthusiasts ringing up their own loudspeakers in the streets, schools, fire stations, and in their front yards. So on Friday, June 24th, with a 2,000 watt DC motor generator humming outside, they turned the system on full power for the first time and thanked their 100-plus army of mini radio stations by name. So many calls came back to them to say that they had received the signal perfectly that they took over the local switchboard entirely and nobody else could make any calls. So they'd done it, right? Surely nothing's going to be able to stop them now. But less than 24 hours before the fight, a telegraph arrives at the Hoboken office. White takes a deep breath and says, "Gentlemen, I think that just about does it. AT&T won't allow us to connect our ringside position with the telephone network." Now, AT&T at the time were RCA's biggest rivals in the race for dominance in the radio business, and they didn't want them to have any advantage by broadcasting the fight. Now, the official reason, of course, was over concerns of the lack of security around a radio network of such scale being connected to the telephone network. But, that was just a smokescreen. So then White has the brilliant idea. They'll just bypass the phone network by running their own cable 2.5 miles from the ringside directly to the transmitter and create their own private phone line. And White says of this, he says, AT&T can't stop us connecting to their network from here. We've got a government license to operate a radio station for 24 hours. So White's plan in its entirety here was to commentate from ringside and via phone, and then a high-speed telegraph operator in Hoboken would type out everything that he's saying, and then one of the engineers would read it to the network, saying, we'll even get a gong to bang here and there at the start and finish of the rounds. It'll only be a minute or so late, but nobody else will be quicker than us, and nobody is going to know the difference. So far, so good. So the fight day dawns. Under gray skies that were there were queues outside snaking around the freshly built stadium for miles. Just before 3 p.m., the band strikes up La Marseillaise, French national anthem for those of you who don't know, and the whole arena seemed to move as the crowd roared its approval for Carpentier. Wearing a big smile and a dove gray kimono, he climbed into the ring and waved. However, it was Dempsey who got the last laugh here, taking the best of the Frenchman could throw at him, and in the fourth round, planting his opponent on the canvas with a furious barrage of blows. Then, following up with a heavy shot straight to the heart, Carpentier folded sideways to the deck. White's commentary over, he now wants to know if all the hard work has paid off. When he eventually does get through to Hoboken, what was the last thing you heard? The reply? Dempsey is still the heavyweight champion of the world. They had got it all. The battery on the telephone line dying at the very end of the broadcast, a transmitter tube blowing halfway through the broadcast, and over more than 250 miles even though the transmitter tube had blown, it still went off without a hitch. They were able to broadcast over 250 miles. More than 350,000 people had listened to the fight. Now, this was the biggest radio audience in history. In fact, it was the biggest audience for anything in history. Then came a stream of telegrams and more than 4,000 letters, said White. The receiving operators were wildly enthusiastic. They had heard everything, functioning indifferently. The loudspeakers had brought blow-by-blow action clearly to all auditoriums. crowds who had heard the radio depictions knew the outcome sooner than those who had depended on any other means of communication. The first time radio had been used for news, and it had justified its use. So the first news ever broadcast was a boxing fight on the radio. Now, that's non-military, I should say. Now, it might not have been White's voice that everybody had heard across the eastern seaboard there, but it was his words. And no one outside their little circle knew the trick that they had to play in the overnight in order to make this happen. Now, White did become something of a celebrity, and he managed to create an entirely new profession. The success actually encouraged RCA to apply for the company's first permanent broadcast license, and it would become New York-based WJZ, or I guess WJZ, because they can't pronounce Z south of the border. One of the most important stations in that country. And, the radio craze was born. Stations began to appear in every town and city across the states. The demand for radio sets skyrocketed. Within months, a diet of music, news, and sports became the big attraction on radio, and the sale of advertising became a massive growth industry. To give you an idea, the annual sales of radios went from $60 million in 1922 for the entire industry to $358 million in 1924. As the years went by, White faded from view. His death in the mid-'60s didn't merit a single newspaper line. The visionary Sarnoff, however, leveraged the fight's success and built RCA into one of the world's most powerful broadcasting forces. He would become the father of modern broadcasting, launching NBC television in 1939 and pioneering color TV in the 1960s. So for their imagination, courage, and entrepreneurial spirit, and plain, stubbornness, today's sports multi-billion-dollar broadcasting world owes them a debt of gratitude. And it's also the same reason that guys like us are sitting here and have a platform and an audience these days. And that's where it all began. Ta-da. Sorry, I know I ran a bit long on that one, guys, but I thought that was an important story about boxing and how we got to what we're doing right now.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. Welcome, Cedric. If you can hear us.
We have Cedric.
We have Cedric join us. I think we lost Graham's sound.
Can you hear me now? I'm here now. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear Cedric. Cedric, what's going on, brother?
I am good.
You're on the bike going for a ride? Well,
we've lost him. We'll get him back in a second. Mikey, what's on the cards this weekend?
Oh, we got lots on the cards, brother. We've
lost Graham. Cedric's half with us. We'll get them all.
Yeah, man. We got some big fight cards. There's 3 this weekend. We're going to start with the first one, which is the Martinez versus Cordova card. Matchroom, DAZN are thrilled to announce a series of fight nights live from Mexico in partnership with Canelo Alvarez and Canelo Promotions and Eddie Reynoso. And this is the first event in the new 4-part Mexico series. We'll see Julio Cesar Martinez defend his WBC World Fly title against Joel Cordova at the Domino Arcade. This card, it's gonna be good, man. It's the beginning of this nice little series. I can't wait to tune in and check this out. Always out of Mexico, we got some great fighters. Honestly, I think this Martinez bout is going to be epic, man. We got some great people on this card as well, man. We got some.
Hold on. How you calling it though? Martinez or Cordova?
I'm gonna stick with Martinez here. I'm gonna go with Martinez. I believe that he's going to keep his belt. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. There's a lot of on the undercard. There's not too many people that are known. There are a couple of guys on there that I do know. Gabriel Venezuela versus Juan Okura for the junior welter. It's a junior welter bout. It's going to be good, man. I love watching these guys fight. These guys out of Mexico, lots of heart. You
got Daniel Madelon as well and Jose Argumendo.
Yeah,
that's the WBA interim world light fly.
Yes, that's for the interim junior fly title. It should be another epic event, man. These guys, you know what they do? They pour their hearts in. They slug the crap out of each other, and that's what we love to watch, man. And those are the exciting things. But the big cards to talk about, man, has to be the Gervonta Davis and Barrios card. This is gearing up to be an epic event. Gervonta Davis is looking to become a three division world champion, and has a big undertaking in front of him in challenging Barrios for his WBA title at 140.
Did you watch the weigh-in this afternoon?
I did not have a chance to watch a weigh-in because I was watching another card.
Okay, fair enough. You are aware of the height difference between these guys, right?
Yes, I am.
5'5", 5'10". Okay.
Yeah, I know.
No, that's not all. That's not all.
Yeah.
The tank, our little tank here, has gone up two weight classes to take this fight.
Yes, he has.
So I mean, you can't think he's at his best when he's had to bulk that heavily. He's had to go up to, and he's already said he doesn't even play, because I mean, this has been a temporary thing. He's already said this is a one and done. I'm going to go up. I'm going to take this fight, and then he's planning on dropping back down to 130 afterwards.
Yep. This is true.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you right now, I do like Barrios. I featured this guy before. He captured his 140 championship in September of 2019, scoring 2 knockdowns and fighting through a cut to win unanimous decision over Bekir Agamedov. So
I'm just saying there's going to be no surprises in that fight. Obviously the tank there is going to want to fight on the inside because he's not going to have a choice.
Yes.
So Barrios stays. You're cutting in and out, throwing a bit of static actually at the moment there, Cedric.
I'm sorry about
You in the wind?
I am. Sorry. I'll just listen.
No worries.
Just don't get run over, man.
Don't get run over. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to box on the inside. So as long as Barrios stays mobile and keeps him at arm's length, he can just basically walk circles around him all for as long as he needs to. Play his jab until he lines something up he likes.
Yeah,
I don't see this going well for Davis, just because
honestly,
it's too hard on the body to bulk that heavily and then still be in fighting shape. I don't know.
If Davis comes off with the win, it'll be very impressive. Yeah, he'll be a three weight champ.
Well, somebody's losing their unbeaten streak. They're both unbeaten at this point.
Exactly. Somebody's going down. Somebody's losing that unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
I like Barrios. I've always been a fan of this kid, man. Standing nearly 6 feet tall. He debuted as a pro super bantam in 2013. And he had success moving up the rankings in super feather. His first 140-pound bout came in 2017, and saw him increase his power from his previous performances.
My point was he got up to that weight and stayed there. That was his plan, was to stay there and to train at that weight, at that level, and to maintain that muscle mass. Whereas Davis is just bulking to that muscle mass for one fight and then plans on dropping weight right back down to 130.
Yeah.
I know there's all kinds of science and the right trainers and everything behind it makes all the difference in the world. But I'm just saying you can't be at your absolute best if you're doing that to your body.
What's the difference in reach on these two guys too? Like the reach is huge, right?
Let me see here. Reach on this one, 67.5 for Davis, or 171 centimeters, versus 71 or 180 centimeters.
Yeah. So, Davis, he's just going to have to he's going to have to play that inside, man. He's going to have to stay in there real tight. Take it to the body.
He's got a 5-inch height disadvantage and a 4-inch reach disadvantage.
Yeah, he's just going to have to do what he does, man, and let's stay on the inside. It's not going to be the first time he's fought a guy that's taller than him, so we'll just see. We'll see how he does, because I know Barrios has some heavy hands, and he's able to knock these people out, man. This is going to be a great card. I'm so excited to watch this one. Cedric, I don't know if you want to, if you can chime in.
I'm curious. You do strength training here. Like, help me wrap my head around this if you can, about this whole bulking up and still being able to do this. If you can.
If you can. Maybe not. Okay. It's okay. Honestly, another fight to watch on that card is going to be the Julen J-Rock Williams versus Brian Mendoza. That's gonna gear up to be a nice little bout to watch there.
Mendoza?
Yes, Mendoza.
On which card?
Hold on. I show you one sec. It is the Julian J. Rock Williams versus Brian Mendoza. It's a welterweight. It's on the undercards. You might not be able to see it.
Yeah.
Also on that card, though, we have to talk about will be the WBC Junior Middleweight World Title Eliminator, which is Erickson Lubin versus Jason Rosario. That should be another good fight to watch. That's gonna, it's gonna be epic, man. This card, I'm so excited for this card. This one should be full of nothing but exciting fights. And
yeah, I like Lubin for that one. I think.
Me too.
I think I like Lubin on that one. He's an inch short. He's 2 inches shorter, but it has a 4-inch reach advantage.
He's also.
And I just like a southpaw. You know that I'm left-handed, so
I know you like your lefties.
I like a southpaw. So.
Lubin though, he's put together a very impressive 5-bout winning streak since that loss to the unified 154-pound champ Jermell Charlo in 2017. In his most recent outing, he defeated U.S. Olympian Terry Gosha by unanimous decision in September last year. Prior to that victory, he became the first person to stop former champion Isha Smith, in addition to dominating victory over Nathaniel Gilmore. So,
one of the fun things about this particular fight, Mikey, is so Lubin's coming back from a loss to Jermell Charlo, right?
Mm.
To Jermell Charlo. Well, the last fight that Rosario had was Jermell Charlo and lost.
Yeah.
That was the last fight that Rosario took. So they'll have a lot to talk about.
So it's gonna be good, man. This card is good. Also, we got to move across to the other card that's big. It's the return of Lomachenko and Nakatani. Lomachenko. A lot of people have been sleeping on him lately, man. Not really talking about anything. Like it's like he's fallen off the map. He's not really in the in the headlines, and everybody's kind of written this guy off. After that 8 month, what was it, 8 months ago, he lost to Teofimo Lopez, and now he's returning.
He already wants. He was actually there was an article today talking about how he's trying to set up the rematch for that.
Definitely, that's honestly a match that I would love to see rematch here. Who knows what would happen?
But again, same thing though. Nakatani. Not his last fight, but the fight before that one, he lost to Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah. So you know what?
So again, they'll have a lot to talk about, just like the other.
Definitely they will. Definitely they will. Nakatani, I watched this kid before, man. He's 19-1. Highly decorated, very skilled athlete. He's one of these kids that in Japan that's just running it right now, man. He's 5'11", 71-inch reach. He's
definitely got the height and reach advantage over Lomachenko. But again, me and my southpaws. I like a southpaw.
I know you like your southpaws. I know you.
And I like Lomachenko. I like my former Olympians. So I like.
It's good.
I spend most of my time down in the amateur ranks there. Digging around what's going on there. So I like my former Olympians.
Of course, man. You know what? It's gearing up to be a good weekend. I can't wait for these fights. I'm excited for tomorrow.
What else is on that card?
That's it. It looks like we lost everybody on our panel this evening. Unfortunate, but we kept it rolling, just me and you, like we always do.
Yeah, there's no belts actually changing hands on that Lomachenko card.
No, there's none.
No, that's just straight exhibition. Well, not exhibition, but that's just straight boxing there.
That's just straight a night of knockouts. Hopefully.
Did we get all those? Just checking the cards. Did we get You got Al Heyman's card there. Yeah, that's the Davis card and Lubin. We have Lomachenko and the Joe Cordova. Everything else, nothing until July 3rd. That's sad
right.
and upsetting.
Yeah, it is. So tomorrow we got the WBA World Super Light title up, and we got the WBC Silver Super Welter title. So you know what? Let's pray for a big knockout here.
Absolutely.
I know.
I think I read something this morning that said Muhammad Ali's grandson is about to make his pro debut.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah. I'll have to hang on a second here.
We have.
I think he's making. I think he's making this in. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Nico Ali Walsh. Yeah, he just inked a deal with Top Rank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they signed Nico Ali Walsh to a multi-fight promo deal. 20-year-old grandson of Muhammad Ali is set to turn pro in a 4-round middleweight bout on August 14th, with an opponent as yet to be named.
Well, then we're definitely going to have to mark that one in the calendar.
Oh yeah, put it in your calendar. It's royalty at that point, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's see if he can float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, right?
There you go. So I expect you to do some digging for your for Knuckle Up.
Oh, I will.
Because I want you to. I want to know more about Nico Ali Walsh.
Oh, no problem. We'll debut him next week for you.
There you go.
Well, on that note, man, we got some fights to watch, Christian.
Sounds good.
We got to get to work. So, panel, me and you, thanks for sticking it out with me, brother. It's another fine Friday.
It's a short one this week, guys, but yeah, we'll be back next week with all the usual stuff. And Mikey, we'll be seeing you on Sunday, yes, for Knuckle Up with Mike Orr, as well as the Knockout of the Week.
Definitely.
Correct?
That's correct. So, all fans watching around the world, thank you again for tuning in. This is Friday Night Panel. Christian, Mike, jab that like, hook, subscribe, knock us out those comments. You know what it is. Tune in Sunday. Make sure you watch that Knuckle Up Knockout of the Week.